What's up, Taiwan? I'm Ethan Liu with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan's military says a Chinese combat drone has flown around the country's main island. The drone entered the southwestern corner of Taiwan's Air Defense Identification Zone, or ADIZ. It then flew up and around to the north of Taiwan. The military says this is the first time a Chinese combat drone has fully encircled the country. 38 Chinese warplanes were also spotted operating around the region in a span of 24 hours. Of those, 19 breached Taiwan's ADIZ. This space is used by the military for security purpose, but isn't part of the country's territory. A U.S. military aircraft has flown through the Taiwan Strait. The U.S. Navy confirmed the patrol plane passed over the channel in international airspace on Friday. On the same day, French Senator Alain Richard said a French warship had also recently transited the Taiwan Strait. He made the comments while meeting Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen in Taipei. Though Richard did not say when the crossing happened, a French surveillance vessel reportedly sailed through the strait earlier this month. That happened while China was holding 3 days of military drills around Taiwan. The head of a French delegation in Taiwan says he believes France would not remain passive if there was a conflict in the Taiwan Strait. Here he is speaking exclusively to TaiwanPlus.
Bien entendu, je m'exprime avec prudence et avec réserve, puisque je n'ai pas la responsabilité de décider d'une action de la France, mais ma prévision est que s'il y a un déclenchement d'opérations militaires dans le détroit, les États-Unis interviendront et je suis convaincu que nous ne resterons pas inactifs.
Richard is leading the second French parliamentary delegation to visit Taiwan this month. The visits come after controversial comments by French President Emmanuel Macron. He said Europe should not follow the U.S. into a conflict over Taiwan. In the interview with TaiwanPlus, Richard said that Macron's comments had been oversimplified. He said Macron was not speaking about a crisis in the Taiwan Strait, but about general confrontation between China and Europe. Meanwhile, Taiwan's former President Ma Ying-jeou is in Greece, where he'll give a speech warning of the danger of war in the Taiwan Strait. It's his second major trip this year, following shortly after a historic and controversial visit to China. Our reporter Jeremy Olivier takes a look at the differing reactions to Ma's visit.
A contrast in styles. While Taiwan's current president, Tsai Ing-wen, was visiting the U.S., including a historic meeting with House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, her predecessor was in China, here meeting with Beijing's top official for Taiwan affairs. The visits drew international attention, with some arguing they showed competing visions of Taiwan's future, one close to the U.S. and Western democracies, and one closer to Beijing and the Chinese Communist Party. But for Ma and his office, the visit wasn't about choosing sides.
马前总统一直强调中华民国对外大战略其实就是和陆亲美跟友日，那这个是不变的，也就是说，它和陆跟亲美这两点是不冲突的。
It's no surprise that Ma Ying-jeou would promote closer relations with China. During his 8 years in office, he oversaw a warming of cross-strait ties. The two sides were at their closest in over 50 years. There were trade agreements, direct flights, and even a historic meeting between Ma and Chinese leader Xi Jinping. But that all changed in 2016 when President Tsai Ing-wen took office. The difference? As president, Ma agreed that Taiwan belonged to one China, but as part of the Republic of China, ruled from Taipei. That was good enough for Beijing, though it insists Taiwan is part of its People's Republic of China. But Tsai says that neither side is subordinate to the other, and does not recognize one China. Since then, China has cut off contact with Taiwan's government, and it's ramped up military activity around the country, while upping threats to use force against Taiwan. Ma is unhappy with the increased tensions in cross-strait politics, and says his trip to China shows a peaceful future is possible. He brought a group of 30 students with him. The hope was that more cross-strait interactions can help rebuild the strained relationship. One of the students told TaiwanPlus that she was impressed with the people she met.
I think they are very intelligent and they are very cautious. At the same time, when I communicate with them, their attitude to Taiwan is very friendly because they know Taiwan very well. Because most of them, they are professional bureaucrats, and then they're doing cross-strait relations affairs for maybe 1 or 2 decades.
But many criticize Ma's decision to go to China at a time of heightened Chinese military activity around Taiwan. Taiwan's ruling party says it undermines efforts to build support for the country.
我想，当全球都在关注台湾受到中国的武力威胁跟各种恐吓的时候，那甚至其他的国家都在关注以及跟台湾建立友谊的时候，马英九前总统这次的访中，他会对国外的整个国际社会释放出错误的讯息。
Ma's office told TaiwanPlus that it believes the responsibility for better relations with Beijing lies with Taiwan's ruling party. For its part, the government says Taiwanese people support its stance on cross-strait ties, with over 80% of respondents to a government poll agreeing that the two sides are not subordinate to one another. Ma's trip shows there's still a way for Taiwan and China to get along. But in a world where one China seems increasingly unrealistic, the Taiwanese people may not be willing to follow his lead. Rick E., Sam Hui, Ed Moon, and Jeremy Olivier for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's economy has entered a technical recession, which means 2 successive quarters of negative growth. Preliminary data shows the economy contracted by just over 3% in the first quarter of the year. The weak results come as demand for Taiwan's exports remain depressed. Exports account for around 70% of Taiwan's GDP. The last time Taiwan's economy was in a technical recession was in late 2015, in the final months of the Ma Ying-jeou administration. Taiwan is offering 20,000 workers incentives through a new subsidy program. The government hopes it will get more people into the workforce. However, not everyone is convinced by the idea. Bing Wang reports.
Taiwan's workforce is getting a boost. The Labor Ministry has pledged $32.5 million to help ease the labor shortage post-pandemic. The program hopes to recruit 20,000 workers by paying them directly, giving workers over the age of 45 an extra $325 per month, while those aged 45 and lower will receive an extra $200 monthly. The program will last for 1 year. The government will also provide subsidies for companies to train new workers. Subsidies will also go towards upgrading equipment, providing for safer working environments. But there are those who feel this won't provide a permanent solution to the country's labor shortage.
本来假设这个雇主本来给我3万，那你雇政府就给我加了1万，所以4万块，那我愿意进来。就等到补贴期满的时候，如果雇主在这段时间没给我加薪，那我又回到3万，那我可能又离开了，会变成短期的效果。
The government insists the plan will work and get older people back into the workforce. Taiwan's economy has contracted for the 5th straight month. The government attributes that to a decrease in global demand of goods and a lack of workers. Officials hope their planned subsidies will help people find jobs and lift the economy. Klein Wang and Bing Wang for TaiwanPlus.
The United Ukrainian Ballet Company has arrived in Taiwan. It's in the country to perform for the first time over the weekend. The troupe is made up of 60 self-described refugee dancers escaping Russia's invasion. The Taipei shows originally included Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake, but it was cut from the program because of its Russian origin. In its place, the group will perform Wartime Elegy, a piece composed as a tribute to Ukraine.
We switched because although we thought that when we originally planned this to come here, it was within our capabilities to perform. Unfortunately, the oppression and brutality of the war in Ukraine didn't get any better. And the feeling in Ukraine, as I think you all know, although it may not apply to people outside of Ukraine, is that it's not appropriate to dance a Russian repertoire.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally, we leave you with images from the International Fireworks Festival in Taiwan's offshore Penghu Islands. I'm Ethan. Take care, and I'll see you next time.